Final of the EA Sports Cup. Winner of this will play Complexity on Wednesday in a semi-final.
Yeah.
Which can pretty much change the game. Just to get your thoughts, what can we expect from this game between these two? Because look, on paper, we have got RB Leipzig, who netted in 24 goals compared to Fnatic, who only scored 8 across 8 games in group play. That's got to change.
Of course, it's a drastic difference. You can see the amount of goals scored for RB Leipzig. They go forward a lot. They're not afraid to push forward. The step overs in the final third as well is very effective. And I'm actually anticipating a high-scoring game.
From both teams or from one?
You put me on the spot for a prediction. I want to say Fnatic edge it. I'll be honest. It's hard to call with 2v2. There's no real out-and-out best team, in my opinion. I think a lot of teams are very level, but I think that I just get a good aura from Tekkz and Diogo today to feel as if they back themselves to win the game.
Well, of course, Tekkz and Diogo kicking from right to left in this one. They were teammates last year as well, which included a couple of runs they had in London, Team of the Season Cup, and, of course, the FIFA E-Club World Cup. RB Leipzig, though, weren't able to make all of those events. They had success in the virtual Bundesliga. They were club champions last year. That was these two first real chance to work as a team. And you can't forget, Ryan Anders was only 16 not that long ago, so he could only compete in a handful of events as this one comes in. 2 hands on it from Donnarumma. I mean, both duos have had such a different start, you could say, into their FIFA esports career so far.
Yeah, exactly. As we said, we've mentioned Anders a few times, but we have to, of course, give credit to Umut, who is actually the world champion, winning the FPWC last year. So, of course, he is coming into the tournament with a huge amount of confidence. Even the recent FGS one, I believe it was a top 4 finish for himself. Same with Tekkz, top 4, or was it? No, it was top 8 for Umut, I believe it was, and top 4 for Tekkz. And, of course, it wasn't the best of tournaments for both Diogo and Berggang, but again, fantastic duos, fantastic in the 1v1 space, so they need to show up today and perform.
Well, let's just talk about that very, quickly. It is crazy that Umut is the world champion at the moment, but still we sit here and we talk about Anders. We talk about Anders more and more and more, and if you look at the duo, which is trying to defend this attack from Fnatic right now, he just seems overpowered a lot of the time, doesn't he? I mean, he's accepted that role, but Anders is just so vocal. You'll see it across this game. If things aren't going right or if things are going well, he's only 16. He's the youngest player in this tournament, but by God, he packs a punch.
Absolutely, and I think with Umut, he sort of just gets his head down and progresses through tournaments. He sort of reminds me of Razek back in the day. Every time you reach a latter stage of a tournament, you anticipate Umut being there. Whether it's the semi-finals, quarter-finals, the finals, going the whole distance and winning it, he's always amongst the best players in Europe. And his consistency was rewarded last year, winning the grand finals. But as you said, first year competing for Anders is huge. As we mentioned, how much stature he has in the FIFA scene without even playing one competitive game. It was just all from FUT Champions, and it led to the stage where he is today.
Yeah, in our sort of pre-season hype up to this tournament, there was so many people saying one team they wanted to avoid was Fnatic or RB Leipzig. Now we have got what quarter final in front of us. These two going head-to-head. Fnatic so far have had all of the ball. There's Yaya Toure, fancies that one from the edge of the box. It was time green, but that's a warning shot fired. They might have only scored 8 goals. They're looking to add a 9th onto their tally. Corner to come in now towards that area, and just like that, Fnatic take the lead. What a start.
Fantastic start from Fnatic. It's been all Fnatic from the beginning of the game, and it all came from that long shot on the edge of the box there with Yaya Toure. The great dribbling into the green Trivela, but then the corner, there's going to be a lot of corner goals. No shock, of course, how effective it is this year. The driven corners in, and when you have players with that stature in the box, you've got the likes of Yaya Toure, Ruud Gullit, Van Dijk, Vieira. You're always going to pose a threat when corners are whipped in. And it's a deserved 1-0 lead for Fnatic, in my opinion.
Well. If the time green finish from Yaya Toure was not enough of a warning shot, I don't know what would have been. Fnatic lead by a goal to 0. Zero reaction. They know it's a long old road. These 2 legs of FIFA in front of us. We can, of course, not forget, Ryan, that you did take part in this tournament. You were representing Man City alongside Chelsea as this chance comes in for RB Leipzig. What changes now in terms of the approach to these games being 2 legs? Because when it was 1 leg, it was very, very different in terms of the approach for a lot of teams. We saw it especially for RB Leipzig, which is the case of, and Focus, score loads of goals and score early.
Yeah, of course, with a best of 1, it's sort of a thing where if you concede, you kind of are forced to try and get the game back. from that deficit position because, again, you don't really have a lot of time to play with. However, of course, with the best of two, you have the extra game. You sort of use the first leg just to feel out your opponent, their game style, the formation they're using, the personnel, and how they build up their attacks. But again, with the best of one, it's hard. It's much harder to do that. You could maybe do that for maybe the first half, but even then, you still leave yourself with not a lot of time to work with. So again, the best of two format sort of works more for, in my opinion, teams like Fnatic, who are very, very disciplined. You've got Tekkz and Diogo, who, of course, when they take the lead, they're not afraid to keep possession. I think it works well for Complexity as well. A great example who won in the first round today that we saw. We've got Riders coming up later on as well, another team that I think it favours.
Well, as much as we've sort of criticised Fnatic of the lack of goals they scored defensively,
It's been great.
they have been really, really impressive, Ryan, throughout. I think they conceded 6 goals across their 8 group games, being one of the lowest alongside TGNIP, of course, that duo of Levi David and Ollie Leedso. Nearly 40 minutes gone here. Fnatic lead. That's Tekkz and Diogo. On the right-hand side of your screen. Umut and Anders Vergang. He might not. Dropped a game so far. As it stands right now, it's not looking pretty.
It's very structured from Tekkz and Diogo with the way they're defending. They're not really pulling out players out of position.
This could be nice. And Mbappe, great save, if that you can call it. Came off the knee and needed Van der Sar just to back it up, but they might have been caught out on that moment. But you're right, Ryan. It looks very structured at the moment, very organised.
It's almost a slight jinx there from myself. But again, as you just mentioned here, it's very structured and organised. I think it's a 4... I'm not too sure about the formation. I think it might be a 4-2-3. I'm not entirely sure. But the way that they're building up their attacks, they're waiting for the passing lanes to open, doing the step overs into space to get the speed boost. It's great play there from Tekkz.
He's Cafu, Tekkz, the captain of this team, driving down the byline and putting on a play for his teammate. 2 goals to nil, Fnatic leads. They might have come into this and said, look, we're the underdogs. But what a start they've had. They've silenced RB Leipzig.
Sensational play there from Tekkz there, darting down the line. And of course, it's something that they look for at the start of the game.
For both teams, so neither game is going to be easy. But I'd say for now, we'd rather play Red Bull for sure.
Right, well, we'll see what happens. Fnatic 2-0 up. Let's get back to the second half of the first leg.
Cheers, Carl. I mean, if I was asked that question, I'd say neither, if possible.
Yeah.
With Complexity. Quick word on those, Ryan.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. As Max said in his interview early on at the start of the Masters tournament, they sort of have been disrespected. I think people forgot their accolades. Of course, last year they didn't have the greatest cup. I believe it was in the Team of the Season Cup. They didn't perform anywhere near their standards or previous standards anyway. But they've come into this tournament, they've backed their ability, they've put the work in, and they deserve to be amongst the top 4 teams.
Back underway for this one. If you have missed the headline news so far, that is the Fnatic are beating the force, the German force that has been RB Leipzig gaming. Anders and Umut, so far, silence, cannot find their feet in knockout football here in London. After a dominating display in the group stages, 24 points they racked up. Sorry, 20 points they racked up, but scoring 24 goals in total. No doubt one of the biggest matches you'll remember if you followed this tournament all the way through was that Fnatic game. Shot from distance. We'll take it back for a free kick instead. Ooh. What can we see here? Played short, Zidane back to R9. That's not going to make them happy at all there with Ronaldinho and R9 just run into each other. It's just a bit disorganised. I know you can't do much about that sometimes.
I was going to say, I thought that was in maybe shooting territory. We've seen a lot of direct free kicks go in this year. I think the first goal we saw as well in this competition in the group stage was actually a free kick from Tekkz. So I was potentially seeing if maybe Umut or Anders could have lined up for a direct free kick at that moment. But again, played short is also a viable option. We saw with Yoxan as well in the first game of the day. Fantastic play on the edge of the box to score. But other than that, though, the shot outside the box, that's really all they can resort to, as we see Fnatic build up again, but it wasn't meant to be with that pass.
Look at this press, it's nice. Very nearly. Donnarumma found himself in a spot of bother. Driving forwards. Ball forward finds Pele. Diogo back to Tekkz. Tekkz with that blue caster above his head. His teammate with the turquoise green circle.
Go for the cross here, Yaya Toure with the run.
Watch it. This could be special. Oh, it was clever. Diogo tried to find the one more pass, and if it came off, it would have been magnificent, Ryan. But in that moment, I think he had to be greedy.
Would have been a pass we associate, we call it the German cross in the FIFA community. It's something that you associate with Umut himself, triggering a run from deep with a midfielder or a centre-back and whipping the ball in, and it usually results in an opportunity, and it was a bad touch there as we see Umut charging into the box. Great defending again from Tekkz there.
Proud Liverpool fan is Tekkz, and that interception of Virgil van Dijk might have been that little bit sweeter. Keep an eye on the red cursor of an RB Leipzig player. That is Anders. His teammate Umut, that yellow triangle. Does well, Anders, to win the ball back for his team. Great press from R9. There's going to be panic stations, though, sooner rather than later. If they do not find a way back. Mbappe, great feet, Umut. Finds Anders, edge of the box. This is where he has to come out and play. Again, Virgil van Dijk called upon and delivering a superb time tackle.
You can see they've
just managed everything,
yeah,
Ryan.
I was just about to say, you can see the way the tempo of this second leg has changed with the way Tekkz and Diogo are building up. They're not rushing any passes forward. They're only going forward if the opportunity arises. They're not being too risky, even though that pass there was an offside one there. But again, two goals down.
Like that. It is natural to just want to just sit there and say nothing.
Yeah.
But you need to talk it out, don't you?
It is. It's very, very true. As you said, it's very easy to fall into the... You can get deflated very easily. Especially, well, now it's a little bit different because you do have the second leg to fall back on. But at that moment in time, if you're down by a couple with not too long left to go in the game, you sort of think to yourself, is it going to be your day? And that interception there potentially could mean that it might not be. But again, there's still a long way to go. We've still got the rest of this leg and the second leg to play. But the aim here for Fnatic anyway is just to slow the clock down, just keep possession and make sure they don't give up any easy chances for RB Leipzig to capitalize on.
Silly tackles like that will not help. Can not argue against Fnatic. They have not put a foot wrong so far. Mbappe. This is Tekkz now. Trying to outsmart Umut. Enjoyed himself. Back inside. Diogo. One more. Oh, no. It's horrendous goalkeeping from Donnarumma.
Wow.
But they're not going to care, are they? 3-0.
Great play there as well, as you mentioned, the build-up there with Tekkz, with the drag backs, sort of bringing it back to the old-school Tekkz, using the dribbling on the edge of the box there. Slice of fortune, a huge slice of fortune, but you have to take it when it comes your way. 3-0 to Diogo and Tekkz.
Something comes into my mind here, Ryan. Foot whiz.
Yes, I know.
Foot whiz,
don't remind me.
RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
What was the score in that game at the half?
4-0. It was
4-0, wasn't it? They were 4-0 down.
Yeah.
And the full-time score was 4-4. I'm not saying it's going to be like this, but there's a team that can come back. Maybe it'll be these two, but something has got to change as soon as possible. What blows my mind even more, Ryan, is that throughout the group stages, Fnatic averaged 1 goal a game. They've just scored 3 in a quarter-final with $25,000 on it and all the pressure.
This is, without doubt, though, the best I've seen Fnatic play. I know it's easy to say that they're winning against arguably the tournament favourites, so you can say that it's always going to be their best game, but just the build-up play, the discipline, the structure in defence, the composure in possession has been perfect, and rightly so. They go into the second leg at 3 goals up.
Well, I hope... I'm just looking at both those two, and the RB Leipzig side still looks so deflated.
Yeah,
you've got to get going.
Yeah, that's sort of a bad omen in a way. Maybe they need a goal just to sort of kick them up and pick them up and kick them into gear, because, again, they just look very, very deflated. They don't seem as if they have the belief in their...
They don't seem like the team, Ryan,
that scored 24,
that scored 24
yeah.
goals and got the point record in the group stages.
Yeah. We have to remember, though, that was a little while ago. There's been an update since then in the game, of course. There's been, I wouldn't say a meta shift in terms of what's the most effective way to score goals or play FIFA, but it's changed a little bit. So maybe that potentially suits Tekkz and Diogo.
Well then, RB Leipzig, first chance to get back in the game. Umut wins a corner. Keep an eye on those individual player cursors. Anders with the blue cursor above his head. His teammate Umut with the green. Tekkz on the flip side in control of the ball now. He's got that red triangle above his player's in-game cursor, and Diogo with that yellow circle. You mentioned there has been a change to the game, Ryan. What can we expect in that change in terms of a pro capacity that could be obvious, maybe?
To be honest, in terms of the actual patch itself, I wouldn't say there's been a huge change, but in terms of the way people play the game now, you're going to obviously look for crosses. Step overs have always been a key aspect of going forward, but I just think it suits having a best of two with the way that the game is for Fnatic, especially for Tekkz in a 1v1 capacity, but in a twos format, maybe that sort of filters down to Diogo as well. I'm not saying he's not a great player. Diogo is phenomenal, and he's proven it over the years, but from what Tekkz has accomplished, it sort of just fits into the way he plays.
And let's be honest, to partner with Tekkz, you need to be a certain type of FIFA player.
You have to be top
Diogo,
level. You have to be at the top. And
is
again,
that?
Yeah, definitely. It shows how good Diogo is. The fact that Tekkz can put the trust in his hands as well.
And also score the goals,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Cannot look past that these two did have two good runs last year in the only 2v2 majors we saw, which was the E-Club World Cup and Team of the Season Cup. The team that put in the reps, they've faced adversity a few times in these moments. They know what it felt like, and during that, they probably never want to feel it again. Hence why they've come in with such a incredible impact so far. 3-0 they lead, looking for goal number 4. Here's Tekkz now with Mbappe. Trying to do a Tekkz-likes run into the box. Poor pass there from Umut. Will this come back to happen, Ryan? When do we need to start seeing a goal? I mean, obviously not ASAP, but...
Yeah, I'd say maybe one by the 60th. I'd
60th?
Say,
Give it that long?
Yeah, I'll give it that long. 60th is fair. We've seen the amount of goals that have been scored in late stages in the games across this whole tournament, not just in, of course, the knockout stages, but throughout the groups. A lot of late goals. But I'd say to come back from a 3-goal lead, of course, you're going to have to resort to going constant press. So you see a chance there. The reverse to Lassiko wasn't enough to get past the defence of Fnatic there.
And that was Anders there that tried to create the ultimate piece of movement. Unfortunately, that was unable to happen. It's a good warning sign, though. The only thing that worried me about this duo at times is they've just got to motivate each other, especially in these moments. The odd pass going astray, pick your teammate up, get him going. Fnatic just cruising, popping the ball around. Well, there's no tomorrow, though. This is not a quarter-final. One more pass. Tekkz makes it 4. Fnatic put on one hell of a show and one hell of a performance. 4-0.
See, it's not even a celebration from Tekkz. They sort of just telling Diogo, all right, it's not done yet. Let's keep it going. Let's keep prodding. Let's keep pushing. They want to make a statement here. They don't just want to win this game by a couple goals. They want to make sure that every other team left in this competition knows and realizes that they back themselves to win. They know that they can do it. And to beat 4 goals up against RB Leipzig, I know, as I said, we've seen it done before. So we see a shot there.
We have seen it done before,
But
right?
as I said in the first leg, this just feels different with the way that Fnatic are playing. They're so disciplined, they're so structured, and I just don't see how Umut and Anders come back. I'll be completely honest, I just don't see it.
I have to keep giving you that.
Yeah,
the facts.
I know.
8 goals is all they scored in the group stages. Completely different type of team these look like. Defensively, we knew they were sound, but offensively, there was question marks. Not anymore. Tekkz back, cooking Jarzinho this time, back inside to Diogo. Yeah, Torre, this is Tekkz.
Oh.
Still.
This is what
There's one coming. There's one coming from him.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. When he slows down and makes the defender make the decision. Are you going to anticipate me turning left or right? And then once you do, and you bite into that challenge, he just completely obliterates you and goes the other way.
Thanks again, Jarzinho this time. Both Umut and Anders just bearing down on the Brazilian to just try and stop him in his tracks. Diogo.
It's great movement there from Tekkz as well. Just to offer the run as a supporting pass there with Jorginho.
Nice. Oh, Tekkz on a play. Diogo. Oh, no. The rest is history.
Woo!
5.
This is wow. This is top stuff. I'll be honest. This might be the best performance. For sure, it's the best 2v2 performance I've ever seen. I'll be honest. Like, as in, this is ridiculous.
The team with the lowest points to qualify for the knockout stages as well were Fnatic with 12. Forget that. Rip up all the stats about group stages. They don't matter anymore. This is what matters. Turning up in the knockout stages.
Oh.
Not looking for 5, maybe looking for 6.
Is Diogo going to get 6?
Surely not.
Oh, he could have.
Oh, he could have put on a plate for his teammate.
He could have. But wow, this is a demolition job. This is destruction here from Fnatic's Tekkz and Diogo. And as we said, it's just been one-way traffic. It's been outstanding. As I said, I just feel as if
they've not put anything in terms of
nothing.
Tackled, passes, Ryan, everything has been perfect.
Genuinely, it's been perfect. And as I said, you sort of could say there's a slight rivalry between Tekkz and Verjgang and Anders. There is, because again, people are sort of saying if Anders could compete that era when he was going 500 odd games, unbeaten in FUT champs, if he was able to compete, he would have won it all. But then Tekkz is somebody that has actually won it all. Somebody that sort of, you might feel as if there's been an unfair comparison. 5-0 going into the second half of the second leg. I think we'll see more goals. I think it's going to be a job where I think RB Leipzig will have to push bodies forward if they want to just sort of leave the game with any sort of, I don't know, you don't want to leave a game thinking what could have been, maybe if we had pushed forward, but even still, I just think 5 is too much. 5 is way too much.
If you were telling me at the start of play today that we're going to see RB Leipzig not leave the tournament without scoring a single goal, I said you're lying.
Yeah.
5-0. There's no second chances here. You lose, you're out. That's it. You can forget about the FIFA E-Club World Cup in terms of a short, quick ticket. You're going to have to go the long way. Here's R9. Maybe a cutback available for RB Leipzig. Runs it out of play, and that sums up the performance so far.
Yep, it's just one of those days for Anders and Umut.
If I had to ask you, Ryan, before a ball was kicked, what would your prediction been?
I did say it would be high scoring, and I edged it slightly to Fnatic, but when I meant high scoring, I thought it would have been maybe 6-5, 7-6.
Well, I joked about it, didn't I? I said, what, for both teams or one?
Yeah, I didn't think it would be a 5-0 or a 6-0 or anything like that. I thought it would be a 7-4, 7-5 maybe, but yeah, to have it 5-0 is completely one-sided.
Look at now.
Great dribbling.
Good feet with R9 again. Virgil van Dijk has been immense at the back every single time alongside Maldini. Not many have gone for that duo at the back. Fnatic have, and they've not looked past, and they've kept an incredible defensive line throughout as they look for goal number 6 now.
A lot of players in that position they're just dribbling with Jorginho, with Tekkz there, would lose possession and be susceptible to a counter, but it's just the way he's managed to bait Umut and Anders in to make a challenge and sort of lean one way, pretending he's going to cut inside and then go towards the byline. It's just an easy way for them to keep possession, keep the ball in RB Leipzig's half, and again, it's been outstanding.
Cafu over the top. Might just find Hullet. 29 minutes away. You'd have to sit here, Ryan, wouldn't you? For a performance like this, Fnatic to win it all, maybe? Or
it's so hard to say. I think it's too hard to say because I said earlier, I don't really see a huge difference in the 2v2 scene with a lot of the top teams. I think they're all on a similar level, but this, as I said, for me is probably the strongest 2v2 overall performance I've seen. I've said how footwears are fantastic as well. TG and IP I think are great, but I haven't seen an overall performance. There's always been sort of slight drawbacks with the overall performance, maybe that they've given up an easy chance or anything, but this has been resounding, this game.
And what do you think held them back from the performances they showed us in group stage? Was it just the one leg? They couldn't handle the one leg, or is it just they needed more time to gel and get used to it?
Yeah, it's of course the the group stages was at the start of the season. So, of course, the sort of learning the game, how it's
27 minutes left on the clock. I don't think we're going to be seeing 5 goals or more. But we may be seeing 1 or 2 more added on to the scoreline. When I saw this RB Leipzig team at the start of the tournament, when it was drawn, when it was created, I always thought, it's great when it's going well. But I always thought, what would it like when it was going wrong?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they might be able to pull one back now.
There's not much going on. They're not really speaking to each other. It's sort of, with Umut, it's very a similar theme throughout all of his years of competing. He doesn't really give off too emotion when he's playing. So even if he concedes a goal, you wouldn't see the frustration in his emotion. However, with Anders, he's very, very expressive with his emotions, and each goal they conceded or a chance, a giveaway or an easy gift of possession to Fnatic, you could see that it was deflating him more and more.
Mbappe stopped in his tracks, Anders, that time. Fnatic look for goal number 6. Maybe they might just find it now. Tekkz back with R9. Tekkz times it green. Semi-finals in the books, if it wasn't already done so. And a little celebration to add on. That's all we've been missing.
That's where the celebration has come out. He felt as if he needed another one just to seal the deal. Maybe because he's been sort of laying it on a plate for Diogo to finish those chances. That was his one there to green and put it into the back of the net. 6-0. 6-0. Fnatic against RB Leipzig. To say again, 6. Oh my goodness.
6-0. You're not dreaming.
Oh my Lord.
This is a quarter-final with $25,000 on the line. And they're not done yet. We want another one. Tekkz is having the time of his life. You know what? Let them enjoy it. Towards the back post, we want 7! All right. They've nearly scored 8 goals, Ryan. They only scored 8 goals in the group stages. They've nearly scored 8 in one game.
I can't believe what I honestly cannot believe it. I cannot believe there's not even a show of emotion from Anders or Umut. They've just been glued to the screen, glued to the same spot in shock. And as a coach behind me, they've got their coach. It's sort of, what do you say?
I don't know if there's any late flights tonight back home, but
I can't speak, man. We came last night in our group. But yeah, 7-0 is, yeah. There's losses, but there's.
And look, there's no doubt about it. This was a result never to be spoken about again on the left-hand side of your screen. But there has to be time to look back at it and go, what went wrong from the prep to the way we just did not maybe change things up when it wasn't going well. But on the flip side, Fnatic, maybe they needed a winter break, because they've come back like 2 absolute monsters. Are we going to see a consolation? At least we will. But unfortunately, it won't mean much than just a stat on the screen. 7-1 Fnatic, we can say, will be taking on Complexity on Wednesday in a top 4 semi-final game.
Look at this.
Or does Tekkz want one more? Tekkz with R9 tries to chip the goalie. I hate to say, but someone in the chat just went into this squad battles.
Oh, God.
Can't be saying that, unfortunately.
These are the scorelines you get given in foot champs. I mean, you specifically.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah. I knew that was directed to me. I didn't need it redirected to me again.
No, it's been a one-sided game. It's been a fantastic performance from Fnatic, Diogo and Tekkz. They've been the best team from the first minute, and they've shown it, and they could even get an 8th here.
Here we go.
Diogo, stop moving. Tekkz is going to score.
With R9, 8 goals. They've just done it. They've matched the group stage goal tally they got across 8 games of FIFA. They've done it in the quarter-final. Wowee. What a way to announce yourself back for 2023. Tekkz and Diogo.